WonderCon just wrapped up in Anaheim. The pop culture convention is kind of like the baby sister of ComicCon International, which of course takes place here in San Diego every summer. It's smaller, easier to access, and put on by the same organizers. Now, our KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando, she attended the convention and she joins us now to tell us more about what we all missed and what we could possibly learn.
Sure.
So Beth, what's the biggest difference between ComicCon and WonderCon?
WonderCon started in San Francisco, and even when it moved to Anaheim, it kept this kind of laid-back vibe to it. So it's a little bit smaller than Comic-Con, and there's not as many lines. The space feels kind of more spread out. You don't feel like you're fighting the crowds as much. So it's maintained this kind of more casual, vacation-like convention.
And the reputation that ComicCon has is that you basically have to try a year in advance to maybe get tickets, and even then, it's still a gamble. What's it like to get tickets to WonderCon?
You can buy tickets up to, I think there were still tickets available about 2 weeks before the convention started, and 3-day passes did sell out, but not until like a few weeks before. So you don't have to be like on your computer with, you know, your finger poised on the keyboard to get into it. This year they had an estimated like 66,000, which is about half the size of Comic-Con.
And what was the theme this year?
Well, this is the 80th birthday of Batman. So there was a celebration for Batman. DC brought a cake. There was a panel where you could get Batman cupcakes. There was a Legal Geeks panel exploring all these legal questions of Batman and deputizing a vigilante crime fighter into the police force. So there was a big celebration sense of Batman, the superhero in the DC comic.
So I would imagine that was probably a popular panel. Any other excitement happening?
Yeah, so Jordan Peele is rebooting Twilight Zone as a series, and that had a great panel. Also, kind of the changing landscape of film distribution and series distribution is YouTube had an original series called Cobra Kai, which is visiting the characters of Karate Kid 20 years later. And so there was a lot of fun stuff going on up there.
And ComicCon has some challenges here in San Diego with the convention center, basically outgrowing the convention center with no immediate plans to expand the convention center. What's the situation with WonderCon in their space?
Sure, they've added a new building. I think last year they brought it in. So WonderCon still has space to expand there. So it's been growing. The layout of the convention center is such that there's a nice big fountain and patio space out in front, which allows for some overflow from the convention floor to go to, and there's a lot of food trucks. So there's a lot more room for them to expand.
So obviously ComicCon has been around for a lot longer than WonderCon, but could San Diego learn anything from the way Anaheim puts on this convention?
I think one of the key things they could learn is hotels are a lot easier to get in Anaheim. They're a lot cheaper. They're right next to the convention center. ComicCon, which is a nonprofit organization, doesn't have any control over the hotels in San Diego. And it would be nice if the hotels down here made it a little easier for fans to attend the convention. So one of the things ComicCon is doing, because they're kind of out of space at the convention center, they are going to be opening the ComicCon Museum, and their hope is that by offering this ComicCon experience all year long, that people who get shut out of the convention can experience some of the things you would experience there at the museum.
And when does the museum officially open?
The museum is currently open on a certain level. They do an event like maybe once a month that's very popular. The plan is to close it down completely at the end of the year for renovations, and that the renovations may take a year to 18 months to complete. So hopefully in the not too distant future.
Well, it sounds like a whole lot of fun. Beth Accomando, thanks so much.
Thank you.